Have you ever bought something on a deal that you thought might be too good to be true, but then when you got the product in, it absolutely crushed it and you thought, why doesn't everybody know about these? Well, that's what these lights are. These are a new RGB panel light from Neewer that have RGB lights built in and have white lights built in that you can shift the colors in so you can change it from cool white to warm white. I got the 2 panel set that come with the lights themselves, the barn doors, power supply, and the light stands. So you get a complete set for this low price that's on Amazon right now. Pricing is subject to change, but at the time of this recording, I believe it's $249 on Amazon. All right, let's go over some specs. The CRI of the white lights claims to be 97 plus. The brightness range goes from 0 to 100. That just speaks to how you can control it, not exactly what the lighting does. Some lights go from 10% to 100 and then you just have to turn it off in order to go full dim. These lights dim from 0 to 100. There's a saturation that goes 0 to 100 as well, and the hue range goes from 0 to 360 to represent the degrees. Color temperature ranges from 3200 to 5600 Kelvin, and then the brightness level measured at 4400 Kelvin is measured at 1500 lux at 1 meter away. Power consumption with this model is 38 watts. Let's get into some of the features of the app, and I'm gonna turn on my overhead camera here. We're gonna go into the Neewer app, and when it comes on, you'll see a screen just like this. If this is your first time opening the Neewer app, this section will be blank and you'll have to go and add your devices. It'll ask you whether you want to use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. You'll select Bluetooth. It'll search for the lights and your lights will automatically be here. Because my lights are already paired, it's not gonna find any new connections, and so this is gonna just keep scanning forever. So I'm gonna go back. These are already paired. I chose Bluetooth because it doesn't matter where I am, whether I'm in the woods or corporate location, whatever. I'm always gonna see these lights when I'm using this phone as the controller. And so if you wanna control these lights both at the same time, you'll hit group. There's a default group right here that's got all of your lights on there, and that's what I've been using, but you can, if you've got more than just these 2, you can create groups and have maybe a background and your key lights as different groups, or maybe left and right as different groups, however you want to do that. But you can hit power right here and it turns them both off. You can hit power again and it turns them both on. If you hit this 3 lines right here, that's where you can control everything else. So if you wanted it to shift the hue, there's 2 ways to shift the hue. You can either use this circle and just keep going on the circle on the color wheel and choose any color you want, or you can just shift this hue right here, this hue knob. It goes from 0 all the way up to 360. I'm gonna go back to where I had it before. It was about right here. Now, on screen, I'm noticing that this light looks a little bit different than that light. And I think that's more because my placement of these lights is not 100% accurate, like they're not placed very evenly. And then for individual control, so we'll go back and go to my devices. Now I can control each light individually. I'll just turn this one off, and that's the one over here. And then if I turn that one back on, I can turn this one off. That's the one over here. And it's the same type of thing. If I click into the light, then I can change everything about it, change the hue, go there and get me some LSU colors, go Tigers. And I'm gonna show you some of the scenes that this thing does, because not only does it do RGB really well, white lights really well, but it's also got some pretty cool police light scenes, ambulance scenes, fire truck scenes, party lights, lightning, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what those look like. I'm back in group mode so that both of these flash. Now, if you've got epilepsy or something like that where you're gonna be triggered by flashing lights, maybe skip forward to this timestamp right here. If not, take a look at these different scenes. So the first one, squad car. So now I'm being arrested. I'll put some police sirens in the background. Go to ambulance. Next one is fire engine. This one also, I think, would double as like a fire emergency, which is pretty cool. And then if we go to the party modes, we've got fireworks. That's kind of cool. The colors are shifting and then it's flashing just a little bit. This is my first time going through all of these, guys, so we're doing this together. Glad you could be on this journey with me. Next one is just straight up party. Candlelight. I should probably turn my key light down so we can be in the mood. Oh yeah. For this one, you'd probably want to turn the brightness down. My camera is freaking out right now because the brightness is going in and out. If I turn my brightness down though. Yeah, the brightness going down definitely helps out with that look. My camera's still freaking out. I'm gonna turn this back up, turn my key light on. Then there is lightning settings. So there's lightning, just straight up lightning. Should just flash a few times like that. Then we got camera flashes. It's actually called paparazzi. Thank you. I'm embarrassed. Don't take my picture. And then we've got a display screen. This is the back of the RGB 480. So the light's off right now. It's kind of in sleep mode because I've got it in Bluetooth mode so that it's controlled by my phone. But if I want it on, all I have to do is press this mode channel button. Now it's on and the brightness is at 16%. So if I turn it all the way up, that's how bright this one light is at 5600. So if I change the color temperature by using this other knob, you can see it changing the color temperature in the back. And as I cycle through the color temperature, you can tell that it kind of changes brightness a little bit. And at 4400 Kelvin right here, it's going to be at its brightest. And then if you want to go into RGB mode, just hit this mode button again. And now you're in RGB mode. If you flip this HSI knob, it's going to cycle through the colors, and I can turn my intensity up. So now it's at 100% and I can cycle through my hues. And if I press this knob now, it's gonna take me to saturation, and I can take my saturation from 0 all the way to 100, and then it just cycles through again. At A0, that's 100. And then when I go down to 0, that's gonna be all of the color LEDs on at the same time. If I go to white, you can tell that there's a major color difference between that and that. This is white, and then the RGB mode with all of the lights on at the same time, it's that. And I'll show you why over here. So we're at 200 degrees for the hue. Now, if I take my saturation, which is at 100 right now, and start turning it down, you can see what happens. That's 0% saturation at RGB. And now I'm gonna go to white mode. So now we're in 5600 Kelvin white mode, 1%. And if I change my color temperature now, you can see we actually get some different LEDs on. So if I switch back to RGB mode now, you can see it's a different grid pattern, meaning that there's actually different LEDs that it's using for white than it is the RGBs. If I switch the color temperature down to 4400 Kelvin, now it's got that same pattern as the LEDs do in RGB mode, but let me switch modes and see if there's actually different LEDs going on here. So I'm going to go back to RGB mode now. White, RGB. So who are these lights for? I think they're for anybody who's doing any kind of content creation. If you've got a YouTube channel and you want to up your lighting game, then these lights are definitely for you. If you're thinking about getting a new camera because you want your videos to look better, I would go with lights first. And with these, you're probably gonna spend about half or a quarter of what you would have normally spent on a camera and drastically improve your videos much better than you would have with a camera. I have links in my description for these lights and a bunch of other gear that I use in my YouTube setup, including my microphone, the key light that I use. In my next video, I'm going to show you a few different lighting setups that you can do with this lighting kit if these are the only lights that you have. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in the next video.